welcome and a very good morning. How are you? It's been great, hasn't it? It is nice to greet all of you, my listeners. My name is Nurunada Binti Isani. I am a civil engineering faculty student from class 3C7. I'd like to share a big topic relating kids with you guys today. Have you seen that your child can control screen use, loses interest in other activities, and interferes with socializing? If yes, it is a sign for you to stay with me until the end of this video. So, my topic for today is, does screen time affect children's development? Throughout my speech, I will explain what screen time is, why too much screen time is bad for kids, how screen time affects a child's development, and my recommendation on how to deal with it. First of all, screen time is a term used for activities done in front of a screen, such as watching TV, working on a computer, and playing video games. In other words, screen time means that you have been exposed to the blue lights for some period of time. For your information, the potential adverse effects on screen time on a child's development have become a concern in the modern world. Now, the question is screen time good for kids? Recent studies have shown that a substantial amount of on-screen exposure can cause developmental delays in young children. There are two types of screen time, which is non-recreational and recreational. Non-recreational screen time is time spent on a computer, tablet, phone, or television that has an educational or activity-based component, while non-recreational screen time promotes learning, creativity, curiosity, exercise, and movement. Based on this chart, since screen time-based play is number one, we can see that kids spend most of their time on screens. It is shown here that the kids spend less time in other outgoing activities that require them to interact with people. Aside from that, this graph shows that the average mobile media usage in the United States for children aged 0 to 8 years is increasing over time, and I believe it has been increasing up until this year. Moving into our first main point, why excessive screen time detrimental for kids? According to scientific literature, about 1 in 4 school-going children suffer from developmental delays or deficits, such as difficulty communicating, language problem, impaired motor skills, and emotional deficits. Excessive screen time is considered one of the crucial risk factors that can potentially hamper early developmental processes in children. Such developmental delays can significantly impact the learning process as well as serve as a barrier to a child's academic success. A recent study by the National Institutes of Health has shown that children who spend approximately 2 hours on screens have lower thinking and reasoning powers and language processing abilities. Moreover, the study has found that the brain area cortex responsible for reasoning and critical thinking becomes thinner in children who spend more than 7 hours on screens. The study has also found that exposure to screens and performance quality are influenced by several factors, such as the economic status of the family, maternal depression, the child's sleep pattern, the child's gender, the child's reading exposure, and the child's physical activity level. Next, moving on to our second main point, here is the best part. How does screen time affect a child's overall development? Physical, behavioral, emotional, and cognitive developments occur very rapidly in young children, especially those under the age of 3 years. Generally, children learn from their surroundings by observing the activities of adults, especially their parents. Excessive screen time can significantly limit a child's opportunity to experience distinctive day-to-day activities, which can cause a narrowing of their general interest regarding of screen matters and facts. In other words, a child who is extensively exposed to the virtual world on screens generally spares less time for playing, exercising, or interacting with friends and family in real life. This can significantly impact a child's overall growth and maturation. For example, it could be language effects, sleep effects, emotional impacts, brain effects, or health effects. Regarding language development, it is known that a child learns language while interacting with adults during talking or playing. Unlike one-way involvement with a screen, a reciprocal conversation with adults, which also involves a facial impressions and emotional input, is much more beneficial for a child's language development. For sleep effects, too much exposure to the blue light on the screen can cause sleep deprivation by inhibiting the secretion of the sleep hormone melatonin. This can subsequently hamper the cognitive development of a child. Not to forget, excessive screen time can modulate a child's emotional behavior in many ways. Too much reliance on digital media can hold back their imagination and motivation. Because of the increased screen addiction, children cannot often be entertained by nearby people, which at some point can cause frustration, anxiety, and impulsive behaviors. Last but not least, in terms of health effects, sitting and watching a screen is time that is not spent being physically active. Therefore, it will lead to obesity because of the lack of movement and unhealthy food choices made while enjoying screen time. In a nutshell, there is no denying that screen time has a negative impact on children's development, with more negative than positive effects on their growth processes. As a result, here are my recommendations on how to decrease screen time. You can help your children be healthier by telling them how sedentary activities affect their overall health and talking to them about things they can do to be healthier, such as playing outside, learning a new hobby, or spending time with family and friends. Besides that, here are some tips for parents on how to limit their children's screen time. Firstly, co-watch whenever possible. If children are going to have a screen time, the best thing you can do is watch the show or game with them to help them understand what they are saying, as well as to interact with the children about the content of the show. Secondly, choose media wisely, such as high quality educational programs that can be beneficial in terms of improving academic skills. Thirdly, keep bedtime, mealtime, and family time screen-free. This is important in order to balance online and offline time. Next, limit your own phone use. Kids will do what they see their parents doing. So, set the best example for your kids. Lastly, emphasize the big three, which are sleep, healthy nutrition, and also exercise. All three are necessary for optimal brain growth and development, as well as health and wellness in both children and adults. I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching and lending your ears. See you next time.